What's happening, people? I hope you're all well. This is the J&J Boxing Podcast. I'm here with Aaron Joshua, and we're going to be previewing Artur Beterbiev versus Callum Smith. So, what are your thoughts on the fight, and what are your thoughts on how the fight's going to play out stylistically?
Well, in terms of the fight, to be honest with you, I'm not in the camp where a lot of these British pundits are saying they think Callum Smith got a chance. I'm not going to lie to you. I think Callum Smith is a good boxer, but I do think he is slightly overrated by the British fans. I think people are really trying to downplay Anthony Yarde's performance, like Anthony Yarde's some sort of bum. I think Callum Smith has strengths, but also Anthony Yarde has strengths that Callum Smith doesn't have. And I think they're trying to act like Callum Smith is some pound for pound level boxer. We've seen Callum Smith being outboxed before by John Ryder. We saw an injured George Groves give him issues. We've seen what he did against Canelo. To be honest with you, I think this is going to be a relatively straightforward fight for Beterbiev. I'm going to be so real. What about you?
Well, I mean, I think that... I'm not going to lie, I do see where you're coming from, but I also think that Callum Smith does have attributes to trouble Artur Beterbiev. And the reason I say that is because Artur Beterbiev has shown vulnerabilities. One thing about Callum Smith is he can punch, and I think he's punching harder now at 175. Artur Beterbiev was dropped heavily against Callum Johnson. I think he was stunned at least once against Anthony Yarde. And I think that keeping that in mind, also keeping his age in mind, 38 years old, we've just seen a 38-year-old fighter potentially just fall off. I think that this fight has the potential to be competitive. I think Artur Beterbiev, Callum Smith, he's not being dropped. I wouldn't say he's been majorly hurt. I think against John Ryder, maybe he was stunned a little bit. I think that this fight has the potential to be competitive. Callum Smith, he disappointed me against Canelo, and I'm looking at this fight. So you see, here's the thing, right? When Callum Smith went to fight Canelo, I was thinking the same thing as this fight. Callum Smith has the tools to do something. And then he went in there against Canelo, and I don't know what happened, if you catch my drift. So in this fight here, I'm looking at it and I'm saying this guy hits hard, he's got the height, he's got the reach, he's got boxing IQ. But then at the same time, the Canelo fight is making me think, well, what if he goes in there and just does 12 rounds and says,
That's exactly what I'm thinking. And you made a good point in terms of reach. Callum Smith doesn't fight like he's 6'3". He's trying to shorten up his punches. And against Canelo, I'm not going to lie to you, Canelo's 5'6", 5'7" at best. You can't be a physically bigger fighter and let Canelo walk you down like that when you have supposed speed, power, and strength and height and reach on your side. So I'm going based on that, to be honest with you. I think the point you made is really good, and maybe I'm just holding a grudge from the previous fight, but I just can't see Callum Smith. Like, I'm just thinking about John Ryder as well, like how little John Ryder was able to close the gap, hit him with overhand lefts. Obviously, Ryder's a southpaw, but I'm just thinking from the point, if John Ryder and Canelo can do that, what do you think Beterbiev will do? Who has a lot more power than them lot, is a more accurate puncher, and will wear you down eventually. So I can hear both points. Maybe I'm just being too judgmental, but that's how I see the fight going, to be honest with you.
Yeah, now you're totally within your rights to think that. I honestly thought Callum Smith had a real chance against Canelo, and then he went in there and he stunk the place out. And I see him looking at the clock, seeing how much time was left in the 12th round, laughing and joking with Canelo in the 12th round. It really did put me off, because that made me wonder what was going on. But with regards to this fight here, I have a feeling that he won't go out like that against Artur Beterbiev, because I have a feeling, he might, but I have a feeling he might not, because Artur Beterbiev isn't the cash cow that Canelo is. And I feel like this fight here, you see, Callum Smith was a champion, but was he a legitimate champion? Did he solidify his reign as a champion? 10 years from now, when we look back, are we going to be thinking, super middleweight champions or light heavyweight champions? Is the name Callum Smith going to come into your mind? And the reason I ask that is because this is a career-defining fight. He's in his mid-30s. He's already lost a world title fight. Yeah, exactly. He's already lost a world title fight. He's got another world title fight here. And this basically is it. If he loses this, I don't see him really making a statement as a world champion at all in his career, because he was champion before. And don't get me wrong, George Groves is a good win, but George Groves was at the end of his career. And George Groves has seen better days by the time they fought. And, George Groves, he was right at the tail end of his career. That wasn't a prime George Groves. So Callum Smith, I feel, in my opinion, this is the moment for him to shine. And I do believe he has the tools to do it. But I also feel like he also is a bit... The things I think he should do... I'm going to break it down as this is what he should do. In my opinion, he should keep it long and keep Artur Beterbiev at the end of a long jab, and then as Beterbiev, walk Beterbiev onto shots. If Beterbiev gets on the inside, hold him straight away. And I think if he was to adopt that style, not to say he would win, but I believe he could at least have success. Beterbiev, I believe for him it's simple. He needs to get on the inside and he needs to work Callum Smith. I don't think Callum Smith would have been punched with someone in the pro ring with the power of Beterbiev. I think Canelo don't punch as hard as Beterbiev. I don't think any of Smith's previous opponents punch as hard as that. And I think if he does that, he will probably force a stoppage. But in my opinion, if I was a betting man, I would probably lean on the side of Beterbiev. But I do think if Callum Smith, it's not out of the realm of possibility for him to adopt a safety first approach where he uses his jab, catches Beterbiev on the way in. He has the punch selection to do it, but it's whether he can pull it off. And secondly, the one major weakness I see with Smith is whenever someone closes the distance on him, he puts the earmuffs on and almost hopes for the best.
Exactly that. That's why I think when they do eventually go in the fight on the inside, because Callum Smith is the inside fighter. Callum Smith always relies on that high guard, and Beterbiev punches too quick and too hard for you to do that. As we saw against Canelo, sometimes you don't even need to land a punch on the face to damage your fighter. That same arm, you never know, could get dented again. So I'm just seeing all the variables, and I understand people picking Callum Smith, but I'm just going with the safe option, and I think Beterbiev wins by stoppage. I think the fight might be competitive early, but people are talking about a war. I don't see a war happening. I see it being a very cagey fight. Then after maybe 3-4 rounds, I think Beterbiev will land something big. Then I think you'll close the fight out within 6.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this was the first time we see Smith on the floor.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, the only thing that he's alive. I think Callum Smith he's a live underdog in my opinion, because.
Yeah, so I think regarding that, I think there's too many variables. I think there's too many variables with that fight. I just think, I don't know, it's weird. Callum Smith is 6'3". He should be able to keep it on. He's got a long reach as well. He should be able to keep it at range, but he can't. I just don't understand it. It's like, if you can't keep Canelo, who is more of a plodder than Beterbiev, how are you going to keep Beterbiev off? You know what I mean? That's my logic.
Yeah, I mean, I'm picking Beterbiev. I won't be surprised to see Smith win it, and the only reason being is because of the age of Beterbiev. Like, we never know when a fight is going to go up, get old overnight. And I also think that Beterbiev can be hurt, and he's been, he was hurt in his last fight, hurt against Callum Johnson, and just for that fact, I do believe that Smith can hurt Beterbiev.
Do you think Callum Smith punches harder than Anthony Yard?
My guess is no, but I do think that Callum Smith has a better punch select. Yard is more athletic, but Callum Smith has a better more
punches better.
Punch selection and his he's more methodical, but I believe he can set punches up a bit better and he maybe throws them a bit more correct. Anthony Yard actually can be quite crude sometimes, but I do believe he's more athletic. But I think overall, who's got more power? I mean, I'm being punched by either, but I would probably bet on... I wouldn't be surprised if Anthony Yard actually hits a little bit harder, but I think that...
I even think Callum Johnson hits harder than Callum Smith.
Yeah.
I think people need to take into consideration his level of opponent at light heavyweight. He's only fought twice at light heavyweight. I think people need to realise he's only fought twice at light heavyweight. And both guys came at him. The Border League fight was a shoot-off. Callum Smith was getting touched by Border League. Like, I just think... I don't know, man. I just think... I'm going to have to go with my head with this one. I think Beterbiev wins by knockout.
Yeah,
round 7 to 9.
Yeah, I'm
and I think Callum Smith will get disheartened in this fight. In all fights, he's never shown me that dog. Against Canelo, that was a pitiful performance.
Yeah.
So, I do think if he gets hit with a couple shots, he might go into his shell. Maybe a moral victory to hit the final distance compared to his British rival. So, that's what I think it could happen.
Yeah, I think that could very well unfold. I'm going with Beterbiev as well. So we're going with Beterbiev in this fight. What do you guys make of the fight? Let us know what you think. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, hit the notification bell so you get a notification when we make new videos. And with that, enjoy the rest of your day and we'll see you on the next one.